Well, welcome to this, your little mini video tutorial on how to make a great video. I am in no way an expert, but I have a lot of experience, and I'm hopeful that what I share here today is going to be an incredible gift to you. Keep in mind that your tools are very simple. You really can use what you have, which is your smartphone, your headphones if that's all you have, a lapel mic if you do have that, a stack of books if you don't have a tripod, or a tripod if you have that, and literally the natural lighting that you already have available to you in your house or in the building where you are. Let's dive into some of the things that I think are the most essential things to pay attention to when you're creating video.
So doing videos while you're walking and holding the camera is definitely one way of doing it, but it keeps it really busy. And sometimes that's okay, but for the most part, what you want to do when you're presenting material that you really want people to pay attention to is you want to kind of be stable with a microphone and good lighting so that what they're receiving is the information instead of what's going on in the background and all the busyness that you're offering here. The other thing you want to notice is the volume on my voice here and all of the background noise. And it's not that you have to have no background noise, it's that you really want to offer the best audio that you possibly can and the best lighting that you possibly can. Now, if we're going to talk about sound, it's very different when I'm using the phone microphone, which you can hear now, and when I'm using headphones and when I'm using a lapel mic.
Now, without placing this officially on my body, this is the difference in the sound from the lapel mic. It takes out most of the echo. We don't have as much background noise. The thing doesn't sound so hollow. And this is headphones. And this is not bad. I use headphones quite often, most of the time when I don't have a lapel mic. So it's really better to use headphones than not use headphones. And if you have a lapel mic, to use a lapel mic, but what you want to really get is that sound is as much a part of video as is framing. So what could you add to your life and to your videos that would make the soundscape of your videos just as pleasant as the visual scape?
There's a few things to be aware of when you're using a lapel mic. One is hiding the cord, right? Like it hanging out outside of your clothes is not as sharp looking as if it's well tucked and well hidden. The second thing is really kind of knowing what direction your head is going to be turning when you talk. For the most part, lapel microphones are directional, meaning they pick up sound from one direction instead of, I forget what the term is, but like unidirectional. Most lapel mics aren't. So if you are a talker that tends to talk over here and your lapel mic is over here, the sound doesn't pick up. So it's little things to pay attention to. I happen to know that I'm very likely going to sit on this angle, so I'm going to place my microphone over here. In order to hide this cord, I have to do some strategic things. So the first part I need to do is like switch this around, and I'll show you why. So right now the clip, it clips over here, but I want to clip it over here. So I need to switch this. Okay, so off camera I did it, and now we've got a clip that goes this direction. So now the only challenge is to tuck this in a way that's flattering. And many times you really want this pretty close to your mouth, and also want to make sure that there's no necklace, no hair hitting it, because some microphones are more sensitive than other microphones. And then you want to just kind of play with this. So most of the time what I do is I clip it here, and then I curl this around the back, which is a little hard to see on this fabric. And then I clip it on the back here so that it doesn't drag. And this takes a little bit of time to get it right. And then what you do is you just tuck it down here, okay? And then for the most part, I have a pretty elegantly placed microphone that makes me look like a pro. And when we plug it in,
changes the sound a little bit. So that's microphone etiquette 101. It can also be done with headphones, but this is probably the direction you want to head if you're going to start creating content and putting it out in the world. Talking about lighting and backgrounds now, of course you can do anything you want. What I always attempt to do is something that's sort of balanced and interesting, and I'm always making sure that there's just a little bit of space above my head in the frame. Simultaneous to that, instead of looking at myself in the phone, because it is facing me, I am looking at you, which is the little tiny camera hole on your phone. And so you really do have to train yourself to make eye contact with the audience and really pretend or envision that the audience's eyes and energy are in that little tiny hole that most of the time you can't see, in order for them to really feel like that you're talking to them. So eye contact, background, and lighting are the next three things you really want to pay attention to when you're filming something. One of the things about composition of a shot is you want to work in the rule of thirds. So essentially, every single square or rectangle or shape is divided into thirds. So you've got your thirds this way, and this way, and you've got your thirds this way, and this way. So when you're composing a still shot, iPhone provides you, for example, with a grid where you can kind of like put your interest in a third of it and you can compose your shot that way. But when it comes to videos, I am very aware of that. So many times in my videos, you'll see that I have interest, something different over here than I do over here, or it's symmetrical, but I'm working in thirds. And usually I'm either straight in the middle of the shot or I'm off center in 1/3. Now, if I was going to choose this, I would move either the camera or me. So you notice how now this is actually makes more sense. I'm now in this third-ish. This third is kind of empty space, and this third is taken up by the plant. So any way you do it works. It's just you have to remember the rule of thirds for a visual interest. And it's one of these weird things that has to do with the way our brain functions. There's pleasure in thirds. So like even in landscape design, when I was designing gardens, I would always do odd numbers because there was something about odd numbers that satisfied our visual cortex. So don't disappoint your people, satisfy their visual cortex, and work in the rule of thirds. Now in this setting, for the most part, the light is hitting the floor and then reflecting up onto my face. And this is one of the things that I pay attention to with choosing backgrounds for my videos. I pay attention to what it looks like behind me, what it looks like beside me, what the light is doing in front of me, and how that's illuminating my face and my body. And when I look at the frame, what stands out to me? Do I stand out? Does the plant stand out? Does the background stand out? Or does it all kind of work together? So many times when I'm about to film a video, I'll actually walk around the house with my camera to find the light and also to find the background. And if I need more light in the background because it's too dark and it's more interesting lit up, I'll turn the lights on. And if I don't have that, I don't choose it. So that's another tip to finding where in your environment you kind of have your ultimate filming spot. You want to be lit up. You want the things that you're conveying to be the focal point, and lighting and background and the composition of your shot all contribute. When it comes to being comfortable on camera, one of the things you got to get is that it takes practice. So first of all, if you haven't done a lot of video, please don't make yourself wrong. I did 3 live videos a day for almost 3 years, and after that was so comfortable I can pretty much talk about anything to anyone on camera. But you're gonna just have to play with this, right? And let's say you've got a series of videos that you want to make, and maybe you've even made a list of the topics, right? One of the first questions you can ask yourself before you jump on camera is, what is this topic for me? Now, that starts to get you in touch with the energy of the topic for yourself. I don't know about you guys, but watching videos that are just sheer information are many times lose my interest. But watching videos where the person is in it, they're sharing their stories, they're like taking you through something with them, that's interesting, you know? So that's one of the first things I do to obtain comfort with the materials. I was like, what is this for me? The second thing about delivering content on video is that you really want to state in the very beginning what the video is. So in the very beginning of me doing videos, if you go back and watch like the Crystal Crawford shows, I didn't do that. I rambled a lot, it was live video, and then finally got to the point like 5 minutes in, and I think a year and a half later I saw a comment on one of my podcasts, show's good, but it doesn't really start till 8 minutes in or something like that. So we learn. people's attention span is very short, and so you want to like get to the point as quick as you can and then elaborate on the point as easily as you can. Now, one of the key access consciousness tools to having ease is barriers down. Barriers down, barriers down, barriers down. And then pulling up energy up through the earth, through your feet, through your body. Flooding you out through the camera to all the people that are ever going to watch this. And then pulling energy from everybody who's ever going to watch this through the lens so that you can also receive from their worlds in what's going to come out of your mouth. And then allowing yourself to be as clear as you can possibly be. Like I said at the beginning of this clip, it's going to take practice, and be willing to let yourself do clip after clip after clip for a while to get that practice. Go dance around the living room to get your body involved so that you have access to more energy in your body. Whatever it's going to take to communicate the energy and the content that you wish to deliver. The last thing I really do want to address is this thing of this, where you want to place yourself in the frame, okay? I see a lot of people getting really, really close. So this is one choice you can make. You'll notice that I am cut off up here. It's a little intense. And it doesn't really allow much of my body to contribute. And if I look at myself in the frame, I'm not actually looking at you. So this is a lot of times what happens when you're like holding the camera yourself. You're kind of like right up in here and you're looking at yourself, talking to yourself, and then it's not as visually peaceful as it could be. Then there's the one that's like super far away, where you've got a lot of space here. Obviously my cord is not long enough, so that's awkward. And I move back in the frame. And that's a little disturbing too, because you don't feel as close to me. I have to use more energy to convey my message. It's kind of off center even. I'm not really paying attention to the rule of thirds. I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do a video. And so that's visually disturbing too. Now, I'm not saying that I'm like, follow this is your Bible, but there is something about when you really do pay attention to it. Now, even here, I've got too much space. So what you can do, let's say you find this frame and you just love it. You love where the plant is, you love this, but this is high, right? That's when you really want to play with your tripod. If you don't have a tripod and you're working on a table over there with a stack of books, that's when you want to adjust your books. That's fine, I've done that too. But I have a tripod, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this down until, see, even that's still a little bit high, until I get the desired height above my head, so that you're not distracted by the loose space that really doesn't have a job and isn't contributing in the way that it can. And even this, I probably would bring this more like this. And honestly, this just comes after years of doing videos and watching videos and seeing what I like. There are other people that don't use these particular rules, but you'll notice they use some of them. And so it's just really finding that balance for you and teaching yourself how this works for you. So I really want to thank you for joining me in this little adventure. Again, there's no right or wrong way to do video. Any video is better than no video. And there are little things that you can get really good at that make your videos way more elegant, seem way more professional, and showcase you and the amazing tools and information that you have to contribute to the world.